Hello friends, this is a CSS lesson number 13. In this chapter, we'll discuss about the CSS queuing facility. We have like a two types of queues. Is like one is the transient data queue, another is the temporary storage queue. We'll discuss about the one of the each one like separately. And let's if you're able to see like a transient data queue overview of the this is the overview of the TD queue. Here like a transient data program is there, and in this TDP program, any of the program like a TDP has been registered in DCT table. The transient data ID, destination ID should be registered in DCT table. And transient data having like two types of the transient data. One is the intra partition, another one like extra partitions. What is the intra partition, like what is and extra partition? Nothing but here you can able to see there are two types of difference, and these are like a syntax for the TDQ. We can there are like two types of TDQ. We have like a syntax, the read queue and write queue command, and delete queue also we have like one more syntax, and this is like a whole batch program. Friend, this is like an important chapter. In the go to like each and every point we and whatever the information contained in this TDQ, we cannot able to get like other material. That's why I'm sharing. I don't want to miss any single point here. Please go through the content here. Like I'm reading in each and every point here. Transient data queue are like identified by four character and call like a destination ID. To identify transient data queue, we have like one ID called like similar like primary ID. We have like a destination ID that is nothing but four characters. So friend, this is like another interview questions. How many characters the DTQ having the destination ID contain? It is a four characters ID, and this destination ID should be registered in the DCT table. What is the DCT table? Nothing but destination control table. And I told like we have like two types of a TDQ. Like one is the intra partition, another extra partition. These are like intra partition, nothing but within a CSS, and it is called like a ESDS. Similar like it should like all by all users. And another like extra partitions like maintain the VSOM and ESDS. It contain the tap device or dash D or printer. This is like able to see like a sample diagram how they have mentioned like a tap tap device and dash D and printer, and this intra partition nothing but stored in the ESDS file format. If you go like these are like intra partition transient data queue, and this is a program where like a TDP program. One the like a TDP contain this is a DCT table. Why they have mentioned DCT table meaning our destination ID should be registered in DCT table, and DCT table contain like what is the destination ID and like what is the type of whether you are going to having intra partition data type transient queue or extra partition transition queue. And in this DCT table contain having triggering level also. You can able to see this is the intra partition data set, and here it is used like within CSS. It is a ESDS shared by all users. All queues are on the same VSOM data set. Records are like a variable length format. Why I call like a ESDS means what are the properties of ESDS similar like it is an intra partition data set. And records are variable length. Records are each queue are written sequentially one after the other, because that is called ESDS. How we are going to store like a VSOM ESDS file? This is nothing but intra partition data set. Our records on each queue are retrieved sequentially. Like once you record the read, and you cannot be accessed by again any task. That is called district queue read. Friend, this is also one of the important point. Like you can able to tell like in an interview also like a records are queue, each queue are retrieved sequentially, and once record has been read and it cannot be accessed by any other task. This is like a district queue read in the intra partition. And like the but note here all other several tasks right same destination like one other this other task, and this is like a logical, and this is a normal message. Like we have told like another TDQ nothing but extra partition transient data queue, and here you can able to see the same syntax. And here DCT table contain like a what is the destination ID and type extra partitions and file name. And this is like we told like this is like contains the batch D and batch program, ordinary file, dash D and tape diver and printer here. You can able to see these are like these are some nodes is there. Extra partition transient data CSA support the sequential access method. Each destination is a physical sequential data set. The each destination can be defined as an input file and output file in the DCT. One's destination cannot be defined as a both an input and output. Since each extra partition queue is a file, user can be used to choose whenever the file should be open, either a CSS system initialization. The latter can be master file terminal by using CEMT. The records are fixed or variable length format, blocked or unblocked here. Friend, this is the only advantages for the extra partitions. Earlier we have seen like the records are being only the variable length format, but this extra partitions having fixed or variable length format, and it is not IO model. This is not IO is not possible here, but here you can able to see that this IO is not possible here. IO is also available here. If you go to like a syntax for the TDQs and like this is a syntax like to write the output of the TDQ, write same exec CSS write queue. Friends, here you can able to the difference is there like a write command and this is a write queue. Here it is a queue option is there and TD is there. We have like one more like a TS queues, and here like we are differentiating with TD nothing but transient data queue, and queue name like a 4 characters or destination ID, and from where like a working storage variable how much length. Here length is an optional from VS Cobalt 2. And these are like some exceptional condition we will face like QID error, like what is the length error, and no space Q and Q busy, like whenever Q accessing the Q also can be busy here. And here like a write queue command applies both intra partition and extra partitions transient data queue. Friend, this is one of another important questions like how to identify whether it is intra partition or extra partition in the same TDQ. Here I mentioned TD only, but here they are telling both same like a same intra partition and extra partitions having the same syntax. The only one we can able to identify by where we can able to destination whether it is intra partition or extra partition by using this command. Friend, there is no any by using syntax you cannot able to identify whether it is the intra or extra partitions. You have to tell in the interview also like we can able to get like only in the DCT table we have like a type option is there intra or extra partition. Only that option we can able to justify whether it is intra partition or extra partition. By using syntax you cannot able to tell anywhere the even in syntax also there is no way to method mention whether it is intra partition or extra partitions. Even they have mentioned here that depend on the type in DCT table we can define whether it is intra partition extra partitions. This is syntax in DCT table we can able to tell type is an intra or extra partition. Even developer cannot don't know whether it is intra partition extra partitions. Only the administrator people know because they only can be browse the DCT table. Even if the interview asks like how to identify means, so you can able to tell like we can able to identify in the DC table type based on type only we can able to identify. And see this is like a write queue command. We have one more command like a read queue and TDQ and command same here like you can able to see the queue and queue number nothing but a destination ID into here. After reading you are going to read into place into from which working storage area, and then this is the length option, and these are like exceptional condition. You can able to see the QID and length error Q0, but the right queue having QID length error no space and Q busy. And this read queue also same like we told like both intra and extra partition trade queue. Similar like we have like a delete command also for the queues, delete queue, TD and queue name. Queue name nothing but QID, the 4 character destination ID you can able to see. If you are not mentioned like a QID, the whole deleted the whole records from the TDQ it get deleted. You can able to see that the delete the whole to delete this entire destination ID if you remove this queue ID. These are like some important points they mentioned. Delete queue command applies only for the intra-partition transient data queue. Friend, this is another important point. Delete queue cannot be applied for extra partition TDQ. It is applied only for the intra partition TDQ, because the extra partition nothing but we are writing into the dash D or tape device. We cannot able to delete the dash D and tape device data. Whatever the intra partition nothing but ESDS file. So ESDS file we can able to delete. So that's why they have mentioned like a delete queue command is applied only for the intra partition transient queue, because it is used in the to delete or record associated with the named destination nothing but it is an ESDS file. And these are like exceptional common exceptional condition, like they have mentioned read queue and delete queue and write queue. Special handling is required. Q0 we will get like a whenever we have length error we will get it, and you can able to browse like a previous two commands. We got like a QID error, length error, Q0 in the read queue command, but here we got like in write queue, QID error, length error, Q no space and Q busy. These are particular write queue command exception, and these are like a read queue exception. These are like a common exception. IO error, QID error. You can able to when you will get like a Q0 error and no space error, not open, Q busy. These are the some 4 types of queue they have mentioned notes for the each type of queue error. And there like some sample syntax program they have mentioned while writing the TDQ, how we are able to fetch the records. And I am fetching the start bro. This is a start bro we have seen. Mainly we can able to go like a queues. Here you can able to see the write queue TD queue name. What is the queue name? 4 character destination ID here from and length and rest. After writing a queue, I am going to handle here the queue and this is end exec. And if you are able to same like I am handling the error condition here, but this is a similar like condition. How to we are going to write the queues example of the write queue command for the TD queues. And here one more syntax like how we can able to identify the records for the primary means 16 times the sequential. These are primary record and secondary record. Whenever the sequential record having BSOM file is there like sequential record, it is 16 times the sequential for the secondary time. How we can able to calculate the length of the file means this is a primary and secondary quantity, and BSOM file having 123 times of the secondary times. Be aware of the reading until end of the file. Know how many records is reading you are reading. We have like a how to transfer the data from BSOM file to sequential file. Read one record. Friend, this is one of the logic here, like how do you transfer data from BSOM file into sequential file. First read one record and transfer into TDQ and then write the record here. And this is like a how to read the file here. They have mentioned read TD queue and queue name into length and response same like. And DCT table we can able to identify whether what type of file here, whether intra partitions or extra partitions. Till now we have discussed like a TD queue. Next we will go like a temporary storage queue, and these are like a temporary storage queue. And we have like a temporary storage queue having these are like a temporary storage queue overview. In temporary storage queue we don't have any types. We have like only one type, that is a temporary storage queue. Earlier we discussed like a TD queue having 2 types, but a temporary storage queue only having 1 record. And this is a syntax for the read queue, write queue, temporary storage queue, and it like a stored in the VSOM file. Auxiliary is temporary storage queue. But here the difference is like a temporary storage queue contains like 8 characters. You can able to see the temporary storage queue ID nothing but the first 4 characters is nothing but terminal ID, and the last 4 characters nothing but is a transients ID, transaction ID. Our whatever the transaction we are mentioning the terminal ID, that is nothing but transaction ID, the 4 characters transaction ID. The first four characters is terminal ID and last 4 is the transaction ID. When this is the most important. And earlier we discussed like a DCT having contain the 4 characters, but here queues nothing but it is TST, the temporary storage queue ID having 8 characters, and it like stored in the TST table, temporary storage table. Earlier that queue stored in the DCT table, but this is stored in the TST table. And this is like how to write the temporary storage queue output. Syntax for the write queue command, write queue TS here. Earlier we have seen like a TD, and to identify this temporary storage we have like a TS. TD means temporary storage queue, and queue name from and length. And here we have like a item number option, how many records we are going to write here, and this is the rewrite command, and main or auxiliary is the default. Similar like we have like a read queue, temporary storage queue, into and from where how many records you are going to write, read into here. And next command means you are going to read the record in the sequential order. Then you have to mention the next command after from which record you are going to read the queue ID. Then you have to mention next command. And a number of items means how many number of items you are going to read here. The number of items in the queue placed in this file will be optional here. And this is the delete queue temporary storage queue name. The queue name will get deleted here. The command used to delete all records in the temporary storage queue and release the associated storage, nothing but here release. And if it is the important note here to command the earliest time to release the storage allocated the queue here. And these are like some exceptional condition we will get like while having temporary storage queue. Item error means whenever you are getting a item number, whatever they read here like a item number while reading or writing queue, we will get like item number, how many items you are going to write. There is a item number here, sequential random, and length error whenever space is incorrect and no space is there. IO error, this is a QID error. Whenever you are having a QID is not found, you will get like a QID error. And you can able to see the how in the sample program how we can able to use like a how to we can able to concateinate the terminal ID and transaction ID. You can able to see a string, because that in a temporary storage we have like a 8 characters. First 4 characters like a terminal ID, last 4 characters nothing but transaction ID. How can able to get like 8 characters in this queue ID? First we need to do concatenate by using the string command, EIB terminal ID and EIB transaction ID delimited by size into temporary storage queue ID. Here you can able to see the queue ID nothing but 8 characters. After combining 2 characters, I am mentioning the right queue, temporary storage queue, from length and item option, how many item you are going to write here, response, similar like the same syntax. Similar like here like also write queue command here, but here rewriting the same queue from where we are going to write like working storage area, this one, and length and item number, which item number you are going to write here, the same syntax. And these are like a sample command like a same like a read queue temporary storage queue and a read queue temporary storage queue. This is like a overview of the sample command like a saving on comparing update option. This is a temporary storage queue, and whenever you're doing like a 2 types of transaction update, this is the update transaction, this is an update 2 transaction, and this is I am going to read here file and sending map, and after sending map it will go like a storage into temporary storage queue. Similarly, whenever going to read another type of transaction with the same type of like a updating, after saving record the queue will be get already the compared it to the saved record. Is it is same? So it will rewrite the same. Otherwise, it will get like error condition because you are not going to rewrite the same file here. That's all, friend, for the TSQs and TDQs. We'll be able to see some sample questions here. Question number: you cannot able to process the intra-partition TDQ using a batch program. This is a true, because it is a CICS program. We cannot able to process the TDQ using the batch program. And next question: you can read, update, delete individual item in a temporary storage queue. No, you cannot able to read and then update intra-party the temporary storage queue. Individual item you cannot able to read at a time. All the records can be read. Once you, next question: once you read an intra-partition TDQ item, you cannot able to read an item in the second time. Yes, friend, this is a true, because it is a destination read. Once you read the record, it cannot be available for the next read. Friend, this is also important point you can able to tell in interview. This is now one of the option for the what is the difference between intra-partition and extra-partition. Means intra-partition is a destination read, means once you read record from intra-partition, it cannot be available for the next time read, but extra-partitions is available for the read and write. And these are like which of the following support the automatic task initiation? Nothing but intra-partitions only support the automatic task initiation. And next question: you cannot code like CICS table entry for the temporary storage queue. No, false, friends. We have to mention that TSQ ID in the TST table. Unless if you are not mentioned in the TST table, you cannot able to access the queue here. You should mention the queue ID in the TST table. That's all, friends. Till now I covered like a TV queues. I covered the write queue command and read queue, delete queue, and for the both, friend, these are like you can able to get like a snapshot. A delete queue is applicable only for the intra partitions. It is not applicable for the extra partitions. And temporary storage queue, we have like only one type of temporary storage queue. It is applicable for all ID. That's all, friends, for the DCT and temporary storage queue. Friends, if you are having any questions, if you faced any interview, so please comment. I will get back to you the comments how to handle the interview, like how do you answer to the interview questions, so the interview may get impressed. And if you are if you face any interview questions, please let me know. Friend, please share this video to any other friends. If you are other friends who want to know learn the CICS mainframe topic, they will able to get know. If you like my content, please like and share, comment, and subscribe my channel to get like upcoming notification on the CICS topics. Thank you all.